So bad news has become good news once again. And the reason for that, simply, every time we get some weaker economic data, the market tends to move higher because it believes it's getting closer to that day where the Federal Reserve will cut interest rates. And I'm not so sure that that is the right, right idea or right way to think. I think, in my opinion, I still believe you want to see strong economic data and at the same time have inflation fall, but maybe that's wishful thinking. You can have strong data and have inflation coming down. So there's that fine line that the Federal Reserve has been walking for quite some time. And so when you get a day where jobs growth disappoints, and we have a chart here on the S&P 500 that will illustrate this. This chart shows how the S&P 500 has moved up, but on a day, which was May the 3rd, by the way, so just at the start of this rally, we saw 175,000 jobs created. A bad number because we were expecting 240 or well over 200,000 created that on that report. So a weaker jobs number, and the stock market took off and hasn't really looked back since. So weaker data, once again, is proving to be very good for the stock market. We saw retail sales numbers this morning, weak out of the US, but again, a positive for the market. We're seeing GDP come down from 4% where it was back third quarter of last year, all the way down to 1.6. Probably don't want to see it fall too much below that, but 1.5%, 2%, if it can reside or stay in that area, I think that'd be good for the markets because it's a not too hot, not too cold number and allow inflation to come down. So once again, bad news continues or is now becoming good news for the stock market. And as we move forward and get more and more data, as we continue to hopefully see things slow down, not by too much, but just slightly slow down in the coming quarters, the hope is that we'll see inflation slow down and that perhaps the Federal Reserve and Bank of Canada, for that matter, can be closer to, at some point, cutting interest rates and getting closer to that neutral standpoint versus a restrictive one, as they've been talking about over the last 6 months.